Hi everyone, it's Nichol Spohr here today for Spellbinders, and today I have some Kaleidoscope strip background cards to share with you featuring the December 2019 Large Die of the Month Club Kit, which is the Kaleidoscope strips trio of strips and borders. So you can create all these amazing borders with these layering sets. I am such a huge fan of die cutting, all the things. And so I thought it would be really fun to show how you can actually create lots of different occasion and seasonal cards with these strips and how to completely create backgrounds from them. I love die cut backgrounds, and these are super fun. I picked some of my favorite shades of Fun Stampers Journey cardstock. In this first card, we're using Bubblegum, Sweet Berry, and Watermelon Fusion. So very, very tone on tone. Going kind of the pink route. I know we're starting to see a lot of kind of Valentine's themed product out there already, even though we're still kind of getting ready for Christmas. But it's that time where we're starting to think ahead. I'm a huge fan of pink on pink or pinks and reds. This card, while it definitely is influenced by the Valentine's type feel, it could work for any occasion. It's just a little I love you type of card. Now you can use the background die cut with or without the coordinating borders. So there's lots of ways to use those borders to layer the pieces together. It really kind of creates 3 layers if you want it to. I am doing more of a 2-layer type design, so I'm using the borders with that background piece to create my 2 layering pieces and then placing them on a contrasting color of cardstock to give me that 3-tone type of look. But you can do it in a lot of different ways. I am going to be using all the dies from this kit to share with my cards today. So this first one, you can see if you flip them upside down, they fit together perfectly, which I think is so super fun. And what I ended up doing was kind of just doing it alternating the light bubblegum on the Sweet Berry, I believe it is. Let me double check that really quick. Yes, and then the watermelon, no. I used Watermelon Fusion and Bubblegum, I'm sorry you guys, for the die cuts, and it's on Sweet Berry. So I'm just alternating which color's on top so that it gives a nice little bit of interest to my background. Then I'm going to glue the 2 borders together, and I'm simply going to fill this entire background. This is a slightly smaller background than A2 size. This measures 4 by 5 1/4, so it's going to have a nice white edge all the way around the background. And I'm simply gluing them together using a little liquid glue, piecing them together like this, just kind of, you can see they just automatically go together, putting an acrylic block on top to hold that down, keep everything nice and flat. And then we're just going to keep filling our panel with these borders, and anything hanging off the edge I'm going to snip off. Now, what actually ends up working really well here is the way this one worked out. I'm going to be able to take my final border along the bottom edge, and when I trim that off, I can use it to fill in up along the top edge. I don't want there to be any open areas where I haven't filled in with this die cut background. And I think you can really see as I'm filling this background in how incredible this looks and just what a fun effect it is to have all of these layered die cuts like this. I really love this effect. So we're just going to glue this down. I'm going to put an acrylic block on top, hold that flat till the glue's dry. When the glue is dry, we're going to flip it over and trim everything off, being sure to save that bottom piece. And I really like to use a long pair of scissors when I'm trimming up a background like this. If you would need to, you could save those pieces. I don't think I'm going to need them for anything, so I'm going to go ahead and pitch them. But That bottom piece I am going to save because the tips of that shape can fit right along the top edge. So I'm being really careful with that particular one. We'll just add a little glue there and then finish in our background. And now that I've trimmed it up, look how pretty this is. Because this is such an intricate background, in fact, on all 3 cards, we're keeping the sentiments simple and we're going to keep any embellishing very, very simple to really let the beauty of the die cut background take center stage. To do this, I'm going to foil some sentiments. My first foiled sentiments for this pink card are from the February 2019 Glimmer of the Month Club Kit. This is the Everyday Sentiments set. If you have not picked this up, I highly recommend it. It's a fantastic set for all kinds of everyday type of sentiments. I am going to use Just For You and With Love. We're going to place those in our Glimmer hot foil machine using champagne foil. And then we're going to foil those sentiments on some of the Sweet Berry cardstock. So I'm just waiting until that's heated up and then I'll run that through. I do want to mention that some of the other sentiments you could use from this set, there is also happy birthday, congratulations, miss you, hello there, and best wishes and thank you, which we'll be using the thank you on our final card. So lots and lots of options for creating some beautiful foiled sentiments. The banners come in this set. So if you wanted to create a strip, you can do that. I'm going to create the notched banners, and then these little hearts are actually from another past club kit, and we're going to create just a very simple, one simple embellishment on this card with those. So I'm just simply trimming down my banners, and to do this, I am die cutting one end with the double notched banner, but I don't want my banners to be this long. So I'm going to line it up, hold it down with some Post-it tape. Please be sure whatever tape you're using, you don't place over what you foiled, because the adhesive on the tape can kind of lift up part of the sentiment, or the foiling rather, if you're not careful. So, but you can see I can trim down the sentiments to any length by doing this. So I'm just lining it up at one end where I want it to be, running it through my die cutting machine, lining it up with the other end and running it through again, and I get these beautiful notched banners that are absolutely perfect. Now I played around with the hearts a little bit, thinking I might use more of them, but I ended up just really not liking that, and I think it's just too much because this is a busy background. But I am going to add one of them below my sentiments, and we'll embellish it with a little glossy accents to make it stand out more. To pop up the sentiments so that they are not lying right on the background, we are going to put some foam adhesive on both of the banners, and then we're going to pop those right on our card. And truly, that's almost all you need for this design. That background totally takes center stage, and those sentiments are gorgeous. I will be adding some jewels. We're going to use some pretty pink posh jewels on our card. I'm going to use the pink blush and watermelon jewels, depending on what color I'm placing them on. So you can see in the shape of these kaleidoscope backgrounds, there's kind of a flower shape. So if the color on top is Watermelon Fusion, the darker pink, I'm going to use the watermelon jewels. That kind of works out. They have the same name. If I'm going to use the lighter pink, I'm going to use the pink blush jewels. And then I've got these hearts, which are from the June 2019 Large Die of the Month Club Kit, Festive Wreaths slider card, which is another kit that I highly recommend. It's still available. Any of the past club kits I'm using in this video are still available. They are linked below in the description box. So if you are wondering where you can get some of these dies, if you don't have them, you can pick these up for individual purchase now. And I really recommend the slider card. I love it. I will have a link to that video where I have created those slider cards in the description box as well. Now I'm taking liquid adhesive, a crystal katana, and I'm just going to finish my card by adding those gemstones to the center shape on my card. So much fun, you guys. I just love these Kaleidoscope dies from Spellbinders. They keep coming out with so many amazing ones, and I think they are just a very fantastic basic. Something that you can create any type of card for. It doesn't have to be for a certain occasion or season. It can be for anything. Once I have all these little pieces finished, my first card is all finished. Now I know we are in the Christmas season, and so I really felt like the next Kaleidoscope strip and border I'm using can work for Christmas. It definitely doesn't have to be for Christmas, but when I looked at it, I kind of saw poinsettias, and that's probably because we are in the Christmas season, so that's immediately what my eye was drawn into, or what I felt like. So we will be creating a Christmas card with this next Kaleidoscope strip set, and we'll even be embellishing with a large poinsettia from another past club kit. So this one's actually going to feature club kits from November, including the Glimmer of the month and the card kit of the month. And I'm glimmering my sentiments here with the November Glimmer of the month, the Shimmering Christmas sentiments. And we're glimmering Merry Christmas and From All of Us, again using that Champagne Spellbinders foil, this time on some nice forest green cardstock. I think it's Fresh Forest is what this is called. We're trimming down our strips. I did that first. I had die cut the borders. I am using Cranberry Bliss, Pomegranate Splash, and Fresh Forest Fun Stampers Journey cardstocks for the background on this card. And I'm simply layering all of these together and the two red colors together rather, and adhering them to the Fresh Forest background. This time I did pick green and red, definitely giving you the Christmas vibes with that, and it's going to make the flowers stand out a little bit more. I think since I'm making this a Christmassy themed card, the reds are not super different than each other. Enough different that you can see it, but I really wanted it to be kind of a subtle all over pattern, all over the background, almost like creating your own pattern paper, which is one of my very favorite things to do, like with stamping, but I also love doing it with die cuts, and these borders make that really easy. Again, my best tip for getting all of these to lay nice and flat is to put something heavy on top. I'm using an acrylic block. You could use a couple of acrylic blocks if you wanted to, and we're going to simply fill in the entire panel. This one does measure 4 inches by 5 1/4, just like the last one, meaning it will have a white border all the way around when we place it on our card base. And I want to fill in all those little nooks and crannies just like we did before, which is going to include along that top edge. There's just going to be a teeny tiny little space that's going to need some additional flowers. And so any of those little excess pieces that I trim off the sides, I'm going to hold on to so that I can fill that in with the correct layering flowers. Then we'll flip that panel over, trim away any of the excess. And look how fun. So now we just need to fill in up along that top edge real quick. And I've got all these extra little pieces, so I just am picking ones that match up and then going to fill that in. And it's just important because I think for consistency's sake, it looks great. And what I love about this is that there's not a ton of waste. And we're not having to die cut extra pieces. We're able to kind of reuse some of those ones that we've trimmed away. Now, just like our first card, we're going to take those two glimmered borders that we glimmered and then die cut and place foam adhesive on the back and adhere those to our background. So this one's going to read Merry Christmas from all of us. This is another fantastic Glimmer greeting set that I highly recommend. You can create all kinds of beautiful glimmered holiday greetings with this. You get a ton of different greetings. Very, very awesome set. If you want to know some of the sentiments you get, you're getting Merry Christmas from all of us, Twinkle and Shine, Christmas Blessings, You Slay, You Made the Nice List, Sending Mistletoe Kisses, Making Spirits Bright, No Peeking, and Warm Holiday Greetings. So some super awesome sentiments in that November Glimmer of the Month kit. Now, for this card, I felt like I really needed some sort of a focal point to tie it together. And in the November 2019 card kit of the month, there is a poinsettia and like ornament set. You get some really cool dies in that card kit, and it is still available as well. In fact, I have not shared my video with that. Things were crazy last month and I just never got that video put up. So look for that the first of next week, because I am going to get that video put up. And if you want to see some more ideas with this die set and the other dies that come in the card kit, as well as the other components of the kit, that will be coming soon. But I die cut my poinsettia from some gold foil cardstock to match the champagne foiling of the sentiment. Tie it all together really nice. We're going to layer that together. I die cut the leaves from the Fresh Forest cardstock, and we're going to tuck 3 of those around the poinsettia. And just that big, beautiful flower underneath the sentiments just ties it all together so nicely. And the colors give it that elegant look and feel. We're going to take some pretty pink posh gems in metallic gold and embellish the center of the flowers, not only our big poinsettia flower, but we're going to embellish the centers of all of the background as well, just kind of like we did on the first card, because that just gives that little bit of glitz and glimmer, ties it all together beautifully, adds the sparkle, and just makes the background, which is our focal point in all of these card designs, it just makes it come to life. So I've got lots of little bits and pieces here that I'm constantly cleaning up. I am using the Spellbinders piecing mat to work on because I'm using the tool-in-one, and that really just kind of helps remove all those little bits and pieces from our background. Kaleidoscope strips and borders. I'm adding dabs of glue to the center of those flowers, using the crystal katana to pick them up, the jewels up, and place them right where I want them to go on the background. Any of that white glue that you can see right now as it's wet, it's going to dry completely clear in the finished card. You are not going to see any of that, and the jewels are all going to be nice and secure to my card. And then, of course, we want to secure a little trio of those gold jewels to the center of our poinsettia to finish it off beautifully and just tie it into the background. We're going to glue this then to a white top fold card base to finish off our Christmas Kaleidoscope background card. Now for our final card today, I'm going to use the last set of dies from this Kaleidoscope strips and borders set. And we're going to do kind of a blue on blue or aqua on blue card where we're going to create a thank you theme. This one, again, you kind of have to flip the borders around to make them all match up. You're going to see me put these together here. I'm using Fun Stamper's Journey, Cool Pool, Blue Lagoon, and Huckleberry Fusion as my background. So Cool Pool and Blue Lagoon are the layering colors. And we're just going to match these up and completely fill our background just like we did before. Just lining it all up, adding my liquid adhesive, putting acrylic blocks on top to hold it all down and hold it flat. I love a blue on blue card. I think these are so pretty together. There are lots and lots of amazing cardstock colors on the Spellbinders Fun Stampers Journey website, and I highly recommend the cardstock. If you're looking for some specific colors or anything like that, in my Spellbinders projects, I'm always using Fun Stampers Journey cardstock because they just have such a huge assortment and array of cardstock, and it die cuts beautifully. I'm doing the same thing that I've done on the previous two cards where I'm alternating which color goes on top in the layering pieces, and that's just to add some interest, but you could do the same color consistently all the way through if you wanted to. There's just lots of ways you can go about doing that. And I originally thought I'd die cut this background down, but I decided not to. Now this time we're going to use some Spellbinders silver foil with the February 2019 Glimmer of the Month Everyday Sentiments. So that same set we used for the first card, but this time we're going to glimmer the thank you sentiment 3 times on Huckleberry Fusion cardstock. And then die cut it with the banner and adhere it to the background with foam adhesive, just like before, but these are stacked one on top of another, filling in a little bit more space, but very similar to the other two. I'm just going to trim up my background now. I left this background A2 sized, 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, and we are going to embellish this one with some florals. That first card, the pink card I created, I used some layered hearts, and we are going to use that same June 2019 large die of the month Festive Wreaths slider card set of dies. There's florals in this, so the flowers and the branches, or the kind of leafy branches and the leaves, all are from this set. So every little piece here is going to be from that. And I'm such a sucker for all of the Spellbinders small little florals. They come in so handy when you want to embellish different sets. So I have die cut the florals from some Fun Stampers Journey whipped cream, lemongrass, and then some Tonic Studio silver foil cardstock. And I again picked silver because I thought it tied in nicely to the silver foiling of the sentiment. And we're going to embellish kind of each sentiment strip with a little grouping of some sort of the florals. I think I ended up using everything I die cut, but I just loved how it looked so much that I'm just going to continue adding that throughout the design to tie it all together really perfectly. So I have one grouping up high, and then one kind of up high over to the right, one over to the left, and then our final one we'll do kind of in the center because I didn't want them to be exactly even. I'm using different combinations with each. I mean, it's all the same components, but I'm not making them all exactly alike, so they're a little bit more random. For the center, there are die cuts, little circular die cuts, but I'm going to opt not to use those. For this background, I decided instead of adding gemstones all over to the background that I'm going to add gemstones only to the flower centers. So we'll be adding some of the Pretty Pink Posh sea glass gems to the flower centers on this card design. I'm using my Spellbinders Tool-in-One, and I'm just kind of making a circular shape with those flowers on the foam side of my piercing mat, so they have a little bit more shape to them before I glue them in place to my card background. The white flowers pop off of this busy, beautiful blue die cut background as well. Now that we have our die cuts all in place, we're ready to add those sea glass jewels to the center of the florals. We're again going to use the Crystal Katana and some liquid adhesive to glue those in place. A Crystal Katana is just such an invaluable tool when you have small embellishments to pick up and you want to be able to pick them up really easily without using your fingers. I'll add the dabs of glue to the flower centers, pick the size of gemstone I want, and then pop it into the flower. That little hint of blue ties in nicely to the background, but it isn't super distracting, and it finishes off all of those florals perfectly. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this set of 3 die-cut cards featuring this Spellbinders December 2019 Large Die of the Month Kaleidoscope strips and borders. The supplies I used to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Spellbinders dies that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to never miss a new video. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll catch you next time.